Welcome to tonight's sleep story, The Dream Collector's Almanac. If you enjoy this content and would like to support more sleep stories, please like this video. Before we begin, I invite you to take a few moments to settle in. If you're not interested in this breathing guidance and would prefer to jump straight into the story, you can skip ahead. The timestamps for each chapter are listed in the description. Otherwise, let's begin by creating a cozy, peaceful space just for you. Allow your body to settle into your mattress or chair, feeling fully supported, surrounded by comfort. We'll start with a few calming breaths. Gently inhale through your nose, filling your lungs with cool, soothing air. Hold it for just a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth, letting go of any tension as you release the breath. Imagine your inhale as a soft wave flowing in, and your exhale as that same wave receding, washing away the remnants of the day. Let's try that again. Inhale slowly, filling up, and exhale even slower, releasing. As you continue breathing, notice how each breath softens your body. Let your shoulders relax, your jaw loosen, and your hands and feet grow heavy and warm. If your mind begins to wander, that's perfectly okay. Imagine your thoughts drifting like petals on a calm stream, moving gently past you. With each exhale, you release them, returning to this moment of quiet. Now let the gentle rhythm of your breathing guide you deeper into rest. Soon we will begin the Dream Collector's Almanac, a story of dreams that float between realms, gardens in the clouds, deserts of stars, and valleys. Where the wind carries forgotten whispers, there is nothing you need to do now but listen. Allow yourself to drift, carried softly into the peaceful dreamscape that awaits you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cloud Garden. The Dream Collector's skiff glided silently through the twilight expanse, its silver hull parting the mist like a whisper through morning fog. Above, the sky shimmered in hues of soft lavender and dusky blue, scattered with countless dream orbs, glowing fragments of forgotten slumber. Each drifted lazily, some close enough to cast faint ripples of light upon the skiff. The collector stood at the helm, robes flowing like liquid silver, one hand outstretched to guide the vessel deeper into the endless calm. The first dream called softly, a gentle pull through the mist, as though it had been waiting. The collector murmured a wordless note, a song without a beginning or end, and the skiff obeyed. The dream unfolded before them, an endless sky where islands of clouds floated like sprawling gardens. Petals drifted down like tiny feathers, catching the golden light of a sun unseen. The air was cool and carried a delicate scent, something like lilac after a spring rain, or the sweetness of dawn. The collectors stepped off the skiff, their feet finding purchase on the pillowy ground. Here, in the cloud garden, time seemed to forget itself. Bees made of light hummed softly as they traced lazy arcs through the air. Trees of mist rose from nowhere, their branches adorned with translucent blossoms that pulsed gently, as though breathing. In the stillness, even the collector's movements seemed to blend into the world's quiet rhythm. Nearby, the echo fox emerged, its silver fur blending with the surrounding clouds, its sharp eyes reflecting the glow of the dream garden. It paused to watch the petals fall, its steps leaving behind faint traces of stardust. The collector followed its gaze, watching the endless drift of blossoms. "The forgotten dream of a calm day," the collector said softly. "It was left behind in someone's childhood, I think." The fox turned its head, ears twitching as though listening for something. The collector knelt beside a low tree, its blossoms trembling with unseen whispers. A single petal broke free, floating gently into the collector's palm. "To remember this is to breathe," they said, closing their fingers softly around the petal. "Let yourself drift." The petals continued to fall, their rhythm slow and unchanging. A breeze stirred through the cloud garden, carrying with it the faintest murmur, a melody no voice could sing, yet one that settled deep into the bones like the memory of rest. The collector and the fox remained still, listening as the skiff waited silently for their return. Chapter 2. The Lighthouse of Murmurs. The mist thinned as the collector's skiff moved forward, leaving the dream garden behind. The echo fox curled at the prow, its eyes half closed, breathing in the soft twilight air. Ahead, a gentle light began to take form, a tall, pale tower rising from the center of an endless still sea. Its glow pulsed faintly as though sharing the rhythm of some faraway heart. The collector's voice broke the quiet. "A lighthouse for lost thoughts. It has waited a long while." The skiff reached the lighthouse base, where ripples moved in slow circles across a sea that felt as glassy as a mirror. The echo fox stepped off first, its paws leaving no mark on the water. The collector followed, the surface soft beneath their steps. A faint hum rose from the sea, a sound too low to disturb, but steady enough to feel. Each note joined the next, creating a lullaby that was both ancient and familiar. They climbed the narrow spiral of the lighthouse's stair, the walls aglow with pale moving light. The rhythm of their footsteps matched the hum, a soft and steady beat that carried them upward. At the top, they found the lantern, a simple glass orb suspended above the empty sea. Within it, golden threads of light swirled like whispers made visible. The echo fox sat at the base of the lantern, ears flicking gently. The collector touched the glass, watching the threads spin and drift. "These are the murmurs of thoughts left unspoken," they said. "Let them guide you." Outside, the soft light of the lighthouse spread across the sea, drawing distant ships of thought closer. The hum deepened, steady and slow, until it became the only sound, a sound like breathing, or the faintest waves lapping at a shore unseen. The collector lowered their hand, and the lantern's glow swelled gently. "Feel the stillness," they whispered, their voice merging with the hum. "Let the quiet carry you further." Chapter 3. The Stillwater Caravan. The dream collector's skiff drifted over a desert of stars. Far below, dunes of shimmering light rippled softly, reflecting the twilight sky like a mirror. The echo fox sat at the bow, its silver tail sweeping lazy arcs across the misty air. A faint melody reached them, a sound like distant wind chimes, carried on the warm, still breeze. It was a song only dreams could remember, carried on air that tasted of cool sweetness and faint spice, like night-blooming jasmine. The dunes stretched on forever, rising and falling like ocean waves frozen in time. Each crest shimmered, scattering fragments of starlight that seemed to hover in the air before drifting softly back to earth. The collector slowed the skiff, allowing it to glide gently above the rippling surface. The fox stood and sniffed the air, ears alert, as though waiting for something unseen. "The Stillwater Caravan," murmured the collector, their voice soft and steady. "It leaves no footprints, no echoes, yet it has passed this way before." On the horizon, faint shapes appeared, emerging like specters from the glowing mist. A line of travelers moved across the dunes, their figures silhouetted against the silver glow of the desert. Each figure led a soft, swaying caravan beast, their outlines blending into the starlight, like they were spun from the same material as the night. The bells they wore chimed softly with every step, the sound folding into the melody of the desert, an eternal lullaby that neither began nor ended. The collector raised a hand, and the skiff settled gently onto the nearest dune. The sand felt soft, weightless underfoot, as though it might dissolve into mist with each step. The echo fox leapt lightly from the skiff, its paws sinking without a sound. Together they approached the caravan. The figures passed slowly, each movement deliberate and dreamlike, as though caught in the space between waking and rest. The collector spoke to no one in particular, as though addressing the desert itself. "The travelers of Stillwater carry forgotten burdens, wishes unspoken, promises left behind, moments brushed away like sand from weary hands." A caravan beast paused, its enormous silver eyes gazing at the collector. Its breath was like the sound of wind brushing over glass, a sound so soft it felt as if the world itself held still to listen. The echo fox stepped forward and sat at the beast's feet, its gaze unblinking. "To walk without weight is to find peace," the collector said, running a hand along the beast's silken flank. "Let go of what you carry." The caravan continued its journey, moving slowly across the endless desert, leaving no mark in the sand. The collector and the echo fox stood and watched as the line of figures faded back into the mist, their bells growing softer and softer until they melted into the desert's melody. The fox turned and padded silently back to the skiff, its silver tail brushing the dune. The collector followed, glancing back once at the dunes. The ripples of starlight had settled, their glow steady now, as though the desert itself had breathed a sigh. The skiff rose again, lifting effortlessly from the sand, and the melody of wind chimes faded into the distance. "Let yourself drift," the collector whispered to no one in particular, their voice a part of the night itself. The echo fox curled up at the bow, eyes half closed, as the skiff glided once more into the endless quiet of the dreamscape. Chapter 4. The Vale of Velvet Winds. The skiff descended gently into a valley where velvet soft winds rolled across hills of deep, muted green. Here, even the air seemed weighted with peace, wrapping the dream collector and the echo fox in layers of quiet warmth. The valley stretched far and wide, cradled between sloping ridges that seemed painted in shadow and light. A faint hum resonated through the air, the sound of wind moving through unseen corridors, soft and constant, like a lullaby whispered by the earth itself. The skiff touched down without a sound, its silver form settling into a hollow between two hills. The echo fox leapt lightly onto the grass, its fur ruffling as the wind wrapped around it like an invisible embrace. The collector followed, their robes flowing in harmony with the breeze, as though the valley itself welcomed their presence. Each step they took across the hills was met with the faintest sound, a sigh, a murmur, as though the earth beneath them breathed with gentle contentment. The winds carried scents of distant rains and wildflowers not seen but felt, a perfume born of memory and mist. The echo fox paused on a small rise, its sharp ears twitching as it listened to the wind's whispers. The collector stood beside it, their gaze drifting over the endless velvet landscape. "This is the Vale of Velvet Winds," they murmured, "a place where stories are carried by breath alone." As if in response, the winds began to weave their tales. Voices so soft they were nearly silence floated through the valley, not words, but fragments of feeling. Laughter on a quiet morning, a song sung to no one, the hush of falling snow. The collector closed their eyes, letting the sound wash over them like a tide. "To listen is to rest," they said, their voice nearly lost in the breeze. "Let the winds carry you." The echo fox moved onward, leading the way to a low hollow where the winds swirled more thickly, as though gathering to share something special. Here, the grass flattened into rings, each patch a quiet resting place where the wind stilled, and the air grew heavy with calm. The collector knelt beside one of the rings, running their fingers across the velvet soft ground. "These are the memories of stillness," they whispered, "places where the winds stopped to rest, if only for a moment." The echo fox circled one of the rings before curling up at its center, its silver tail draped over its paws. The collector joined it, settling onto the grass and letting the wind fold around them like a blanket. Time ceased to move. The sound of the wind slowed, its song turning to a soft hum that seemed to emanate from the earth itself. The collector's voice came as a whisper. "Let yourself drift as the wind drifts. Feel the stillness as the valley feels it." The air grew warmer, and the hum deepened into something almost tangible, like the weight of a soft quilt on a cool night. The valley seemed to cradle them both, the collector and the fox, as though they were as much a part of its quiet rhythm as the wind and hills. The collector's breathing slowed, their voice now little more than an echo in the breeze. "Let the quiet carry you. Let yourself drift." The winds rolled on, their whispers stretching across the valley and beyond, carrying with them the story of this still, velvet place, a story that needed no words, only rest. Chapter 5. The Dream Almanac. The silver skiff drifted gently now, slower than before, as if it too understood that this was the final journey. The dream collector stood at the helm, their form bathed in the soft glow of floating orbs that shimmered all around. Above them, the sky stretched infinitely, a canvas of deep indigo fading into the palest lavender at the edges of the horizon. Stars lingered there, not fixed but drifting lazily, as though part of a larger breath. The echo fox, curled at the bow, lifted its head and gazed into the endless mist. Its silver eyes reflected faint sparks of light, shimmering like distant memories. The collector whispered, their voice steady and low, "We have reached the edge of the dreamscape." The skiff slowed further until it came to rest upon nothingness itself. The mist cleared, revealing an expanse that was neither land nor sky, a space where even the faintest movement might disturb its stillness. It was vast, quiet, and utterly calm. The dream almanac appeared here, rising slowly from the emptiness, a great book whose cover glowed faintly with soft golden light. Its surface rippled like water, and though it looked solid, it gave the impression of being impossibly light, as though it were woven from air and silence. The collector stepped forward, each movement slow, deliberate. They placed a hand on the almanac's surface. Its glow deepened, sending gentle waves of light outward, spreading across the nothingness like ripples on a pond. "This is the final dream," the collector murmured. "It holds no stories, no images, only peace. It is the place between all dreams." The echo fox rose and approached, its paws leaving no trace as it joined the collector at the almanac. It lowered its head, listening. The collector turned the first page, though no words were visible, only faint shimmers of light that seemed to pulse softly with the rhythm of a heartbeat. "Here, there is no need to remember," the collector continued, their voice merging with the silence. "No need to hold or to let go. You are simply here, resting." The pages turned, each one carrying a ripple of golden light further outward, until the entire realm seemed to hum softly with the same gentle rhythm. The echo fox sat beside the collector, its eyes half closed now, its silver tail curled protectively around its paws. Together, they watched as the light expanded into the far reaches of the dreamscape, wrapping everything in stillness. "Let yourself drift," the collector whispered. "There is nothing to seek, nothing to lose. Feel the quiet, the peace, the stillness." The light grew softer, warmer, fading into a golden haze that seemed to blur the edges of the dreamscape. The collector and the fox became silhouettes against it, two quiet figures in a vast, tranquil void. The hum softened, dissolving into something smaller than sound, something felt only deep within. It was the last note of a lullaby, a breath drawn and released into a perfect stillness. The dream collector lowered their hand, and the almanac's glow dimmed until it was no brighter than a faint ember. The skiff began to move once more, gliding gently back into the mist, leaving behind the final dream. "Let yourself drift," the collector whispered one last time, their voice barely there, part of the silence itself. "You are safe. You are calm. You are home."